Still feels weird to say, hey guys. I wonder when that will stop. In this video, we're going to talk about observing yourself, how to do it, why to do it, and just how powerful it can be. My name's Ariane, I'm a life coach. If you would like to work with me, I'm going to put a link to my website in the description. Go to the website, send me a message, and I'll get back to you. So what do I mean by observing ourselves? I don't mean looking in the mirror and looking at yourself. It's not looking, it's being aware of ourselves in any given moment. So there's a few things we need to walk through first. Firstly, a reminder that you are your consciousness. You're not your brain, you're not your body, you're not your thoughts, you're not your feelings. Your brain is the computer for your body. You are your consciousness. It's like a mini mind blow sometimes, isn't it? What? Secondly, a slightly better understanding about our feelings. Now, we're not going to get deep into what feelings are, but the fact that there are no good or bad feelings. What do I mean about that? Well, we tend to think that there are feelings that are bad and we don't like them, like fear or anger. Now, what I mean by there are no such thing as good or bad feelings is that even the bad feelings like fear or anger still come with its benefits. For example, if there was a car coming at you at 60 miles an hour, coming straight at you, and you could see it, you could tell what's about to happen, it's about to hit me, I'm about to die. Your fear in you makes you jump out of the way and saves your life. So even fear has its benefits. So instead of saying good or bad feelings, we're going to define them as desirable feelings and undesirable feelings. Thirdly, let's talk about triggers. What is a trigger? A trigger is an emotional flashback, which is an emotion that you experienced in the past at a time that was traumatic for you. At that time, what we do is we store those feelings in our subconscious so we don't have to feel them, which is how we cope. We always go with what feels safe in those moments. And in the moment where you get triggered, it's trying to get your attention. It's trying to get your attention because it's unresolved and it needs resolving. One thing I definitely do need to say, for what we're talking about here today, what I'm saying is not the solution for the resolution of that trigger needing to be resolved. It's more like a tool to use for those moments where you feel like you're out of control. There are ways to actually resolve those triggers as well, but I'm going to cover that in another video. So in a moment we get triggered, those feelings and thoughts that are arising out of our subconscious play a huge role in the way we act, how we feel, and what we think, which in turn play a huge role into making us act the way we do in those moments. I'm not trying to say people act in a bad way, I'm just simply talking about how humans work. I mean, obviously as well, these are at different scales. You've got triggers that are much, much bigger than other ones, depending on the situation. One of the biggest reasons being aware is so useful is because not only can your triggers take you down a bad path, but it could actually lead you down a negative thought pattern that would repeat, and that could happen for hours or days or weeks or months. And when we're repeating those thought patterns, what we're actually doing is we're catastrophizing. I'll make a video about catastrophizing as well. Just keep an eye out. So by stopping the trail of thought, we're stopping the bad feelings that come with it. By doing this, it means a larger percent of your day or week or month, you feel the more desirable feelings much more than the undesirable feelings. Overall, let's say in a month, your life experience feels better. So, how do we do this? This is something that all humans can do. So we all have the ability, no matter how hard things are. It's just going to take time. So I need you to be really, really wary about not beating yourself up if you can't instantly start doing it. It's something that's going to take time to be able to be good at doing. From childhood, we learn to suppress our feelings. That means sometimes we don't even know what we're feeling. I know that sounds insane, but sometimes we don't. So, back to what I originally said. You are your consciousness. I want you to start observing yourself. Try and recognize the feelings that you're feeling in the moments. Call it out or say it to yourself in your head. This is anger. This is fear. This is sadness. This is love. In the really undesirable feelings, when the feelings are taking over, remind yourself that you are not your body. There are people in this world that have missing limbs. That doesn't change themselves. They're still there, but part of the body isn't. So start to look at your body like a vehicle that you're traveling in life. How you feel makes that vehicle react in certain ways. If you're excited, your heart beats faster. If you're really, really sad, your eyes start to water. We call this crying. When you're angry, you may grind your teeth or make fists. No matter how you feel in that moment, the goal is to observe yourself. What sensations come with that specific feeling that you're feeling in the moment? Ask yourself, what sensations do you feel? Does it give your body goosebumps? By simply observing yourself, what you're doing is you're taking more control in the moment, and it allows you not to react based on the feeling. Now, I know it's still an undesirable feeling, but we don't need to actually push away this feeling. And I understand how crazy that sounds because, well, at the end of the day, I haven't felt what you felt. But what I mean by that is that it's still a feeling. You're going to experience this because this is how your body works. We can practice being aware and open to accepting any feeling. Being okay with experiencing an undesirable feeling puts you in such a powerful place as a human being. It's one of the best tools in order to be able to succeed and progress in life. So at the beginning, at this point, I was still struggling and my thoughts were taking over. The best way that I found to kind of get around that was to, again, observe my thoughts. So first we observed our body, and now we're observing our thoughts. And the best way that I found to do that is to kind of just let them float up like clouds. So in your head, you'd be looking up and just see your thoughts literally going across the sky like clouds. That allows you to be very separate from your thoughts. That's more you. So I literally look up and I see these thoughts just going by and none of them get me. And if one of them or two of them do again, I'll just push them up and then just observe them. Another thing that I did that works as well is, but this was more during meditation, was to breathe out the thoughts. So if I was meditating, I had my eyes closed and meditating and your mind just goes, every time that I'd be breathing, whether it was deep breathing or not, whether it was guided meditation or not, the thoughts would just crumble out as I was breathing out. So something would come and then I'd breathe out and it just crumble out. Another thing that really, really helped is label it. Label it for what it is. It's a thought. When you think something, recognize as a thought, and you label to yourself that thing is a thought, you're taking a lot of power back. The control is more and more in your hands. Even at this point, if you find yourself continuously still running away with your thoughts, a really good thing to do is literally stare at a spot. Like, stare at a spot. It doesn't matter what it is. Obviously, try not to pick like a plain wall or something. Like, stare at one thing and just stare at it. When your eyes are still, your thoughts can't get away and start running away. Your eyes need to actually move for your thoughts to do that. So even in those moments, just stare at a spot. And then you recognize again, these are thoughts. Label them as thoughts. Seriously, at the beginning, I was doing this like over and over again. I was just doing it loads and loads. It's not like, oh, if you do it and it doesn't work, that means you can't do it. No. Like, this is going to take time. Okay, so at this point, we're aware of what's going on. Now what? Now it's pretty much up to you what you do. You now have more awareness of what's going on in the situation. You can look at things from multiple perspectives and you can make a decision to react in a much healthier way. Once you start getting good at this, you start becoming aware like all the time. Sometimes I caught myself being aware with feelings that like of being hangry or not getting my morning coffee. I remember I was driving to my friend's one morning and it was about an hour away. And on the way there, I was like, oh, I didn't pick up any coffee. And then I started feeling it in my stomach and I was like, and I was fasting. I fast every day. And I was like, oh, this doesn't feel good at all. And it was getting me angry. It was like I was being annoyed about the situation. And then I realized, oh, this is just another feeling. And then I realized, oh, I can be aware even in these circumstances and scenarios. And honestly, it literally instantly made me feel better. I instantly wasn't as angry. I instantly didn't feel as bad. And I even thought to myself, well, all right, well, this vehicle that I'm riding in life has felt like this before. I know this feeling. It's all right. I'm fine. And it literally just, I remember like laughing out loud, just going like, holy shit, that was a lot easier than it needed to be. Like I've instantly made myself feel better and I'm completely okay. Like everything's all right. Nothing's wrong. But in the past, when I'd be hangry, obviously I'm sure everyone can relate to this. You don't bother anyone who's hangry. Like you really don't. And you don't because you relate to how bad it feels. But by simply being aware, I was able to completely take all of those undesirable feelings away. Even at places like the gym, when I was at the gym and I was doing pull-ups, I remember at one point I was coming to the end of my set and I was like, oh, I just need to do a few more. And I didn't have the energy. And I recognized, like, in that moment, I was like, oh, I can be aware. So in the moment, I became aware. And I was able to push myself more than I was able to earlier because I understood that my body was like a car stuck in a ditch. You know, if a car's stuck in a ditch, you're not aggressively pushing on the gas, or is it called gas in the UK? I don't know. I think I've watched too much American TV. We're going to go with gas. You put your foot down on the gas and you wouldn't be doing it aggressively. So as my consciousness in the moment, I wasn't aggressively pushing myself, but I was able to push myself. And because I already knew that this body can handle that, I knew that I wasn't going to injure myself because obviously of what I was doing. And I was able to just do a couple of more pull-ups. Now, when you're doing this, the biggest thing that you need to know is how you criticize yourself in the moments where you don't do it. We can't criticize ourselves not being able to do something we've never learned. For most people, this is something brand new that you're going to learn. We didn't criticize ourselves when we learned how to walk. We just kept doing it and kept doing it. We didn't judge ourselves. If we did judge ourselves and we were scared of failing and we just really hated the fact that we couldn't walk, we probably wouldn't have walked as quickly as we did. But being a kid, not being able to judge yourself in that age really, really helped. So it's important to really, really understand that you have to give yourself a break. A really, really cool realization came when I started doing this. And that realization is that I started seeing my body separate to myself. When I was going through a really hard time and my mental state was in a really bad place, I really didn't like myself. I hated myself in so many different ways and hated myself in my subconscious without even being aware of it. Now, I recognize my body as part of myself. So because I hated myself, I hated my body without even knowing. The moment that I really, really recognized that my body is not me, I looked at it differently. Now I look at it as the vehicle that I drive in this game of life. And that brought thoughts of, well, you know what? I need to make sure that this vehicle is super healthy. I need to make sure that this vehicle lasts as long as I can make it last. I need to make sure that this vehicle gets the right fuel. I need to make sure that I'm not putting the type of fuel in it that's going to break it. I need to make sure that this vehicle has amazing mobility for as long as I can make it have. When you start observing your body, you see it as something you need to look after. And it actually pushes you and it actually makes you look after it better. So now the fuel that I put in it is very, very different. I look at things very differently. I eat differently. I make sure that if I need sleep, I get it. I make sure that if I need rest, I get it. I recognize that if I'm pushing myself and it's damaging me, depending on what the thing that I'm pushing myself for, is that more important than my vehicle that I ride around this life in? And I realized that all of the times I asked myself that, the answer was no, it's not. Even if it's like about work, it doesn't matter. Someone else could do that job. Whether they do it good or bad is irrelevant. My body and the stress that I was putting myself under is not worth that. So it makes you think very, very differently. I hope you got something from this video. Thank you for watching. If you've watched all the way through to this bit, thank you very much. Don't forget, if you're interested for some one-on-one coaching, I'll put the link of the website in the description box. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Very crazy scientist today. You know, I was thinking about, I'll go get my haircut and then do the video. And then I realized that if that's going to be the rule, I would only be making videos once every 2 to 3 weeks. Can't do that. So sometimes I'm going to sport the hobo look. Dun dun dun.